Hey there. I hope everybody's having a good day. I apologize for looking rough, but it's been a rough bit of time for me. Um, as you can see, I've got my little Biscuit here. I've got him in the pet tent. Trying to keep him away from the other cats right now. I'm not really sure what to do because the vet said that he has FIP, which is something that I've dealt with another cat. It used to be Biscuit's best friend, but unfortunately he passed away from it because it's a very deadly disease that at this point they haven't really found any cure for. They've done some experimental stuff, I think, to try to find a way to fix it, but I don't think anything's really worked. So, excuse me. So I'm not sure. I mean, at this point, I'm just trying to keep him comfortable, trying to decide what to do about whether leaving him in there. I mean, right now he doesn't seem to be protesting being in the tent. I'm trying to just keep him away from the other cats because, I mean, the vet said it is contagious, but they've already been around each other. They've already been eating and drinking after each other. I mean, using the same litter box. They've already been doing all of that. So, I'm not sure if it's, they've already managed to catch it. I really don't know. I did get some stuff from the vet, though, that's supposed to help prevent, catching illnesses or whatever. So I'm trying to give that to the cats, but I don't know how much good it'll do. But anyway, I just thought I'd do an update just to let you know that, I mean, at the moment he's still with me. And, whether it sounds silly or not, I talked to him earlier and I told him, I love you very much, and, I will definitely miss you, but don't stay for me. If you're ready to go, then, you can go. And, because sometimes I think animals try to hold on for us, and they don't want to leave us, but it might be, better because he's still not eating. I'm having to syringe feed him, which is, not very great because he's not really getting the nutrition he needs, and his body's just not, I don't think his body's really absorbing it very much anyway. So at this point, I'm just trying to keep him comfortable and got him sitting there, so he can look out the sliding glass door. And I hate that the lighting is just, it keeps changing on me and it looks terrible. I'm so sorry. That's annoying, and I don't really know of any way to fix that except for to move this thing around. But he's got the sliding glass door there so you can look out, and he's got some fresh air coming in, and so hopefully that helps him to be a little more comfortable. But like I said, he's not protesting being in it, so maybe, he doesn't mind too much. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can turn this some other way so that this thing's not kind of doing this thing constantly. Okay, I don't know if this will be any better, but we'll see. Now I'm kind of sitting right in front of the sliding glass door. Hey, baby, you doing okay? Yeah, just, I don't want him suffering. And so, honestly, I've kind of gotten to be a little bit at peace inside with this situation. And sorry, there's a lot of traffic noise right now, but I just wanted to go ahead and get this video done because I've been so busy. I've been out, I don't know how many times today, trying to go get some things, do some stuff like this thing here. Went out looking for this because I've got a little litter box in the pet tent so that he's got everything he needs right there. He's got food and water if he wants it. What you doing, baby? You okay? Hey, honey. And so I got this to kind of sweep up the cat litter, because he gets in there and slings some of it. So I try to keep that up. And um, so, hey, honey, it's okay, baby. What you doing? Hi, honey. But I've kind of come to grips with this. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit because, I know that there's a lot of people that have to face this. And it's never easy when you really love your animals. It's never an easy thing to deal with. And so, I'm just wanting to share my experience right now and what I'm trying to do for myself to get through this better. And one thing is just, accepting the fact that, you know, this is what's in front of me. This is what I'm dealing with. And, he may have 1 day, 2 days, a week. The vet told me 7 to 10 days, which I'm not sure if it'll be that long. It might be less than that. It might be more than that. I really don't know at this point, but I've come to terms with the fact that that is the reality that I'm facing right now. And that there's only so much I can do, and I'm doing the best I can to try to keep him comfortable and, as much as possible. But, I've accepted the fact that I'm going to have to let him go, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's, yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, I'll be sad. Of course I will, because he's been a part of my life for almost 8 years now. So, yeah, I'm going to be sad for sure. But at the same time, I'll know that he's not suffering. He's not having to be in pain anymore. And he's okay. He'll be okay. And that's what I want for him, and it's, we as humans, we're kind of selfish sometimes in our, thinking, because, we want them with us. We don't want them to leave us. But, if it's what's best for them and it's what is happening, whether you have a choice or not, it's okay, honey. You okay? Okay. Um, we have to understand that that's the reality of it, and that's something that we know when we take in an animal. As soon as we take one in, we know that, you know, more than likely we will outlive them, you know, and that day is going to come. And we have to accept that, we're going to have to face that whenever it may be. It could be a short period of time or a long period of time. But I'm just thankful. Sorry, I'm just checking on him. I'm just thankful for the time that I've gotten to have, because he's given me nearly 8 years. Nearly 8 years of joy and happiness and love and laughter. And I wouldn't trade that for anything, I mean, I would never say that I regret taking him in because I'm going through this right now. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, this is hard and it's painful, but I would do it all over again and would not think twice about it. Not even remotely think twice about it. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's been wonderful having him in my life. And yeah, that's right. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I really wouldn't, because when I found him, I had just lost a cat. Okay, I had a cat that had passed away, and I saw him run across the street out in town. Yeah, baby. What you talking about, honey? You want me to pause this for a minute and talk to you instead? Oh, okay. saw him running across the street. He was just this little tiny kitten, and I saw him, just saw this little white streak. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, it was like the next day or something that I actually went back there and was trying to find him and talked to some people around there. And they was like, yeah, he didn't belong to anybody. And didn't know where he was, didn't see him. And left my number so that they could call and, if they saw him. Well, they called and they said, yeah, we got him. They said it was a girl because I was actually at the time wanting a female. But, and they said, yeah, we got her and it's a girl. Yeah, okay. So go to get him. And it turns out he's a boy, and he was feral. I mean, I couldn't get near him. I could not touch him. I couldn't get near him. It was really like crazy. And I didn't even know at that point. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if this cat's ever going to let me get near him or anything. But it didn't take that long before he just became the most lovable, sweet little cat. And the day that I did go over there, and saw him, he had gone and he was like eating fish skeletons. I mean, he was starving, and he didn't have anybody taking care of him or anything. So I gave him a good life that he's, really enjoyed, and he's been happy. And, and he would have never survived if I hadn't taken him. He would have died years ago. So, for that, I'm so thankful, and I know that I did the best I could throughout his life. I tried to always take care of him the best as I could and love him as much as I could. And we've always had a really close relationship. I mean, we've been very, very close. And I'm definitely going to miss him for sure. But at the same time, I know that, it's better for him if he's in pain, if he's suffering. I don't want that. And I'm going to mention it again, even though I've said it before, in case someone is new to this channel that's seeing this video, and maybe this is the first video you've ever seen of mine, and don't know what I've said before. I live in Thailand, and here, I think for religious reasons, they do not euthanize animals. It goes against their religious beliefs to euthanize, so they will not do it. I mean, you can beg and plead or whatever, and they will refuse to euthanize an animal. So that is not an option, because if it were, I would do that, because that is a loving thing to do for an animal, because you love them and you don't want them suffering. And to me, that is one of the most kind and loving things you can do for your pet if they are suffering. It's a very difficult choice. It's an extremely difficult choice to make, because I've had to make that choice before, and it is very hard, because then you're constantly questioning yourself, oh God, did I make the right decision? I can't take it back, and all of this. But if you really truly love your pet and they are suffering and there really isn't anything that can be done to help them, that is the most kind and loving thing that you can possibly do for your animal. And it's very difficult for me to not have that option here, because, my beliefs are just different. I believe differently. I see animals differently. And so, it's hard for me to understand their viewpoint of thinking that, no, this is completely wrong to do this. But that's the way they feel. That's what they believe. And this is their country. So I have to accept that is the way it is. So I've got to just deal with whatever's going to happen here, and, try my best to stay calm and cool and collected, and, try to be as positive and upbeat around him as I can, because that's the other thing. It's like, I don't want to stress him out any more than he's already stressed out. He's the one that's really going through it. He's the one that's dealing with this. more than I am. And the last thing I want to do is make things worse by getting all emotional and freaking out and scared and all of that. And so I've got to try to just be my upbeat, happy self as much as I can so that he feels that kind of energy around him and that vibe, and not one of, just, chaos, because that's how I can be. And that's another reason why I've been kind of making a lot of little trips out on my bike, because sometimes I get a little stressed and I feel a little overwhelmed. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to just run up the road and go look around, or go look for such and such, whatever. And I get myself out of the house for a little bit, go get some fresh air, a little bit of exercise on the bike, so that I can come back with a clearer head and, try to be a little more normal, because I want to be as normal as possible so that it makes things a lot easier for him. So I'm doing the best I can, and I'm sure that I'm probably going to have some moments that I'm going to be very, very sad, and especially when the time comes. But I also fully believe that no matter how sad I am when it happens, I'm going to be relieved, because then I at least know he is not hurting anymore. He's not suffering, and he's better off, because he will be. Because at this point, I mean, he can't be happy. He can't be happy. But he did seem a little happy once I brought him home today. I brought him home and I actually took him in the bathroom instead of just letting him out in the house, because I thought, I got to figure out what I'm going to do about this situation. And I had this pet tent. Excuse me. I had this pet tent from when Lightning had his eye surgery, where he got his eye removed, because I needed to make sure that he wasn't around the other cats or anything while he was going through his healing process. I needed to keep him safe. And so I had put him in the bathroom, and I stayed in there with him for a few minutes, and he was rubbing all up against me. He was so happy to see me and so happy to be home, and it made me feel really good that he was doing that. But he's very weak still, and so he doesn't have a lot of energy to do much. And I think that's why he seems content to be in that tent, because everything he needs is right there. He doesn't have to exert a lot of energy to go walk across the room to try to get to the litter box. And I've got a small one in there, because this is the normal litter box. So as you can see, it's very deep. And the reason I used that for a litter box is because he used to have this habit that when he would use the bathroom, instead of just squatting down and using it like normal, he would stick his rear end up, and it would go up really high. It would like stream outwards. and I was like, oh dear. So it basically was missing the litter box. So I got this nice deep one, and it solved that problem. Then it wasn't an issue anymore. But now, because he's, so weak and everything, it's too much trouble. It's too difficult for him to try to get in and out of that. So I thought, no, I'm just going to put this little small one in there, which luckily I still had from, when Lightning was in this tent. And so, he's at least somewhat comfortable in there. So anyway, so I didn't know I was going to go on and on about this, but I feel like it's important to talk about, because a lot of people go through this. Every single day, people go through this, and maybe something I said will help if you're someone who is facing something similar. And if you are, feel free to talk about it in the comments, because I would love to hear from you. If you're somebody that's dealing with a sick pet, or especially if you've got a pet that's has FIP or did, and you've been through it before, feel free to talk about it in the comments, because I will absolutely respond to you. And would, love to hear your thoughts and, any information that you can share that might be helpful. Because like I said, I dealt with it once before, and well, actually more than one time, because I had some other cats that rescues that had FIP, and it was a horrible nightmare. It really was. It was a horrible thing to watch them go through, and to not be able to really do anything for them except for just love them and try your best to keep them as comfortable as possible until they were ready to go. So, but I'm going to get through this, and I know that he'll be okay. He will. He'll be okay. Once he's gone and he's free of this, he'll be just fine. And I know that. So anyhow, thank you all so much for being here and for listening. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. If there's anything you want to talk about, or if you're going through anything, just please feel free to talk to me about it, because you're not alone. If you are dealing with it, or if you just dealt with it, or you're expecting to deal with it, whatever the case, I would love to hear from you. So anyway, take care, everybody. I will definitely be talking to you again really soon, and have a good one, everybody. Bye.